Hi everyone, this is video 1 for Wonders. So make sure you have both books. You will need your practice book and your reading book. Let's start with our reading books. Let's open to the first page in our unit. We are covering Unit 2, Animal Discoveries. Let's look at the big idea. How do animals play a part in the world around us? Look at the photo. We have a picture of an insect. That's a bee, right? Like bees and butterflies, they help to pollinate other plants. With doing that, that can help produce fruits, vegetables, and nuts. So take a minute to think. How else do other animals play a part in the world around us? Okay, and let's turn to page 97. Our title is Animals Are Amazing. Kittens mew and dogs play catch. Ducks and hens lay eggs to hatch. Animals are amazing. Bees make honey. Lambs give wool. Horses gallop. Oxen pull. Big game lions prowl and roar. Turtles crawl and eagles soar. Animals at work and play, all around me, night and day. Animals are amazing. Okay, this weekly's concept is animals in nature. Our essential question is, how do animals survive? So as we go through this unit, I want you to keep that question in mind. How do animals survive? Let's move on to the next page. Animal survival. Please follow along. Meerkats live in hot, dry places. Here are some ways they adapt to the heat. They live in underground burrows. They have thin fur. They search for food in early morning hours when it's cool. So why do you think they live in underground burrows? Underground, it's cooler than it would be at the surface where the sun is hitting the earth, right? They have thin fur. Would you wear a thick coat in winter? Would you wear a thick coat in summer? Probably not. Too hot, right? So our meerkats have adapted to having a thin fur to keep them cool. They search for food in the early morning hours when it's cool. It's cooler in the temperature in the morning hours than it is at around noon or 1 or 2. Let's take a look at the next page. This is our vocabulary. Let's take a look at the vocabulary in context. That means we're going to look at sentences using these words, but not the actual definition yet. Number 1 is adapt. The polar bear's thick fur coat helps it adapt to the icy water. Number 2, climate. Tom lives in a hot and sunny climate. 3, eager. Mindy is eager to see her grandmother. 4, freedom. Deer have the freedom to move about the open land. Fresh. The baker made fresh bread every day. Number 6, sense. I felt a sense of pride when I won the race. 7, shadows. We made animal shadows on the wall. And last one, silence. The baby needed silence to fall asleep. Let's move on to our next page. This is our first story. This is called A Visit to the Desert. Remember to keep in mind your essential question as you read. How do animals survive? And pay close attention when you see the vocabulary words. Please pause the video now to read, and when you're finished, you can press play and we will continue. Okay, if you're finished, let's move on. How did you like the story? Let's look at the plot, page 109. The plot is the events that happen in the beginning, middle, and the end of the story. We have a chart below. We have beginning, middle, and end. Let's read what they wrote for beginning. Tim is unhappy because he has to go to Nevada for his vacation. What happened in the middle of our story? In the middle of our story, Tim goes on a hike in the desert, doesn't he? He comes along many different animals, and he seems to enjoy himself. At the end, what happened at the end? At the end, Tim learned a lot about animals and how they survive in the desert, and he even jokes and says he adapted to the hot weather. Now let's look at the genre of this story. This story is a realistic fiction. A realistic fiction is a story that could happen in real life, has characters that could also be real people. You can support this by evidence in your text and by looking at the illustrations. Everything could be real. This is a realistic fiction. Let's move to the next page. Page 111. Prefixes. A prefix is a word part at the beginning of a word. You can separate a prefix such as un or dis from the root word. The root word is a word that will stand alone and have a meaning. The part in the beginning of the word is a prefix. Let's take a look at the word unhappy. We know what happy means, but when you put un in front of it, it now has a different meaning. It means to not be happy. You can also take a look at page 106. You can find unlike, page 105, and find the word disappeared. Okay, let's close our books and open our workbook. You'll need your workbook. Please turn to page 51. Okay, so here we have our vocabulary again. After seeing it in context and sentences and reading it in your stories, I hope you have a better understanding of the meanings. So let's review. Adapt, climate, eager, freedom, fresh, sense, shadows, silence. Use what you know about the words in the sentences to choose the words that make sense in each blank. Then write the word on the line. Let's take a look at number 1. My sister is excited blank to learn about polar bears. Which word do you think fits in the blank? What's another word for excited? My sister is excited, and the answer is eager. Let's write eager on the line. Number 2. The quiet blank ended when birds began to chirp. What's another word for quiet? Our answer is silence. Number 3. Desert animals must blank to hot, dry weather. This word means it changes based on new conditions. Our answer is adapt. Adapt. Animals must adapt to weather. Now that we've done 1 through 3 together, please try the remainder on your own. So please pause the video, do your best, and we'll come back after you're finished. Okay, if you're finished, let's start our next page. Let's turn to page 52. The letter O can stand for the short O sound, as you hear in not, not. The long O sound you hear in note can be spelled O-E, making the sound O-O-O. Read each word. Circle the words with the short O sound. Underline the words with the long O sound. So we will be circling the words with short sound and underlining the words with the long O sound. Let's go through the words. First one is box. Ox. That is short O. Let's circle the word. How about nose? O's. Is that short or long? That's long, so let's underline. Next one, rope. Rope. Is that short or long? Did you hear the O sound? You heard the long O, so let's make a line under rope. Lock. Lock. Is that short or long? Short. Let's circle lock. Next one, pot. Pot. Do you hear the short O sound or long O sound? Short. Cone. Own. Is that short or long? Long. Let's underline cone. Dog. Og. That sounds like short O. Last one, home. Home. That will be long. We hear the O say its own name. O. Good job. Now let's move on to our next box. It says before adding ed or ing to some verbs with short vowels, double the consonant, final consonant. Before adding ed or ing to some verbs with long vowels ending in e, drop the final e. So let's look at the bottom half. We have 2 columns and 4 questions. We'll make this column end in ed. And our next column end in ing. So our rule stated, if it ends with a short vowel sound, s-a-a-a, nope, not short, it's a long. So we're going to drop the E and add our ending. Save becomes, drop the E, add ed, saved. Now let's look at ending with ing. Save, saving. How do we spell saving? We have a long vowel sound, so we will be adding ing, but dropping E first. That becomes saving. Number 2, trip. Is that short or long vowel? That's a short vowel sound. With short vowels, we will double the final consonant. What does that mean? That means we're going to add an extra P where we have 2 P's, and then we can add the ed. Trip becomes tripped. For ing, you're going to do the same thing. We will add a P, doubling our final consonant, and adding ing. That now becomes tripping. Number 3, hug. Let's look at the vowel. Is that short or long? Hug. That's a short vowel. So we will again double the final consonant. Hug becomes hugged with 2 G's. Hugging. We will do the double consonant again. Hugging. And our last one, joke. Oak. Is that long vowel or short vowel? That's a long vowel. So we are going to drop the E and add our ending.